You may think living past 100 is mostly about genetics or luck, but for most adults over 50, the real deciding factor is something far more practical: daily movement. The main problem we are addressing in this video is rapid physical decline after age 50, especially loss of muscle strength, balance, joint stability, and circulation efficiency. These changes quietly increase the risk of falls, disability, and loss of independence. The solution we will explore is simple but powerful: a set of just 6 exercises commonly practiced by Japanese elders, known for their long health span and ability to stay active well into very old age. What makes this so important is not just aging itself, but what aging takes away. After 50, studies show muscle mass can decline by 3.8% per decade, and even faster after 60 if inactivity continues. The CDC reports that falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in adults over 65. This is not just about fitness, it is about preserving your ability to walk, stand, cook, travel, and live without constant assistance. Once mobility declines, everything else follows: confidence, social life, and independence. I am Dr. Walker Official, and for over 25 years, I've focused on helping adults over 60 manage common aging-related health challenges, from circulation and joint issues to muscle loss and memory concerns. In this video, I will show you what is really happening inside your muscles and joints after 50, and why most standard exercise advice fails to fully protect long-term mobility. You will also discover a simple but structured approach inspired by Japanese longevity habits that can help slow this decline. And here is what most people never realize: it is not lack of exercise that harms seniors the most. It is doing the wrong type of exercise or stopping movement too early in the aging process. I will also reveal a ranked breakdown of simple movements and the one common mistake that silently accelerates physical decline in millions of seniors. After age 50, the body does not simply get old in a vague sense. It undergoes very specific biological changes that directly affect movement, strength, and endurance. The core issue behind rapid physical decline is the gradual breakdown of muscle fibers, reduced nerve signaling efficiency, and declining mitochondrial energy production inside cells. In simple terms, your muscles don't just weaken, they become less responsive, slower to activate, and less efficient at producing energy. One of the key processes involved is sarcopenia, the age-related loss of skeletal muscle mass. Clinical research suggests that adults can lose up to 30% of muscle strength between the ages of 50 and 70 if no corrective action is taken. At the same time, tendon elasticity decreases, which makes joints feel stiff and increases injury risk even during simple movements like standing up or climbing stairs. Another major factor is reduced blood flow. As we age, blood vessels gradually lose flexibility, leading to poorer circulation in the legs and lower oxygen delivery to muscles. Studies published in geriatric medicine journals show that reduced circulation is strongly linked to slower walking speed and higher fall risk in older adults. Neurological decline also plays a hidden role. The communication between brain and muscles becomes slower due to reduced motor neuron efficiency. This is why many seniors notice they feel slower even when they are still physically active. Researchers in aging physiology consistently emphasize that inactivity accelerates these processes. In fact, clinical findings show that sedentary adults over 60 can lose functional independence nearly twice as fast as those who remain regularly active. What is especially important is that standard advice, such as just walk more or stay active, is not always enough to counter these changes. Walking improves cardiovascular health, but it does not fully rebuild fast-twitch muscle fibers, balance reflexes, or joint stabilization strength, which are critical for preventing falls and maintaining independence. This is why targeted movement patterns, like those used by long-living populations in Japan, are gaining attention among geriatric specialists. These exercises do not just promote activity, they directly retrain muscles, nerves, and balance systems that naturally decline with age. Now that you understand what is happening inside the body, the next step is to see where most seniors go wrong and why common exercise advice often fails to stop this decline. Most people assume that staying active automatically prevents aging-related weakness, but in reality, several common habits actually allow physical decline to continue quietly in the background. The first major mistake is relying only on light walking as the main form of exercise. While walking supports heart health and circulation, it does very little to rebuild lost muscle fibers or improve balance reflexes. Over time, this creates a false sense of security. Energy may feel stable, but functional strength continues to drop. The second mistake is avoiding resistance or strength-based movement due to fear of injury. Many seniors believe lifting weights or challenging muscles is unsafe after 50. However, this avoidance leads to faster muscle loss, weaker bone density, and reduced joint stability. Without resistance, muscles do not receive the stimulus needed to maintain strength, which increases the risk of falls and fractures even during simple daily activities. The third misconception is depending only on medications or supplements to maintain mobility and energy. While these can support overall health, they do not directly activate muscle fibers or improve neuromuscular coordination. As a result, underlying physical decline continues even when blood tests or routine checkups appear normal. From a medical perspective, these approaches mainly address symptoms, fatigue, stiffness, or mild pain, but not the root biological decline occurring inside muscle tissue, nerves, and circulation pathways. This is why many older adults feel frustrated. They are doing something, yet still losing strength year after year. Clinical observations in geriatric rehabilitation show an important insight. When seniors introduce targeted functional movements that challenge balance, coordination, and lower body strength together, physical decline can slow significantly and, in some cases, partially reverse. This is because the body retains a strong ability to adapt, even in later decades of life. In other words, aging is not purely a one-way decline. It is heavily influenced by what the body is still being asked to do. When movement patterns change, the biological response also changes. Now that we understand the most common mistakes and why standard advice falls short, we can move into the practical part. The ranked Japanese-inspired exercises that directly target strength, balance, and longevity. Now, we will break down the 6 key Japanese-inspired longevity movements, but expand it into a practical ranked system so you can clearly see what matters most for strength, balance, and independence after 50. 10. Casual flat walking. At the lowest level is simple slow walking on flat ground. This supports basic circulation and can improve daily step count, but its impact on muscle rebuilding is limited. Studies suggest it may improve cardiovascular efficiency by around 5 to 10%, but it does very little for preventing muscle loss or improving balance reactions. The limitation is clear. Walking alone maintains movement, but does not rebuild strength. Verdict: helpful for health maintenance, but not enough for anti-aging mobility. Number 9. Gentle stretching, morning or evening. Light stretching improves joint flexibility and reduces stiffness, especially in the hips and lower back. It can increase range of motion by up to 10–15% in older adults. However, it does not strengthen muscles or significantly improve stability. Verdict: good for comfort, weak for functional strength. Number 8. Heel raises, calf strengthening. This simple movement strengthens lower leg muscles that support balance and walking stability. Research shows consistent calf training can reduce fall risk by improving ankle stability by up to 15–20%. The limitation is that it does not engage the full body or core systems. Verdict: small but important foundation for stability. Verse 7. Chair, sit to stand repetitions. This is a key functional movement widely used in Japanese elder fitness routines. It strengthens thighs, hips, and core coordination. Clinical studies show improvements in lower body strength by up to 25% over several weeks. However, It still lacks balance and full body integration. Verdict: essential for independence in daily life. Number 6. Stair climbing practice. Climbing stairs naturally builds leg power and cardiovascular demand. It can improve functional leg strength and endurance by around 20–30%. The limitation is joint stress for people with knee issues, so it must be controlled. Verdict: highly effective, but requires caution. Number 5. Single leg standing balance training. This exercise directly targets fall prevention by training stabilizer muscles and nerve response speed. Research in geriatric rehabilitation shows balance improvement of up to 30–40% with consistent practice. However, it does not significantly build muscle mass. Verdict: critical for preventing falls. Number 4. Radio Taiso, Japanese group exercise. A traditional Japanese routine combining rhythmic stretching and light full body movement. It improves circulation, joint mobility, and coordination. Studies in older populations show improved overall physical function scores by around 20–35%. Limitation: intensity is low for muscle growth. Verdict: excellent daily mobility system. Number 3. Slow deep squats, controlled form. This is one of the most powerful anti-aging movements for the lower body. It activates major muscle groups, supports bone density, and improves joint lubrication. Clinical data suggests strength gains of up to 35–50% in older adults when done safely. Limitation: requires correct form and knee awareness. Verdict: high-impact longevity exercise. 2. Tai Chi flow movement. Tai Chi is widely practiced among Japanese and Asian elders for its proven effects on balance, coordination, and mental focus. Studies show it can reduce fall risk by up to 45% and improve balance confidence significantly. It also supports stress reduction and nervous system control. Limitation: slower muscle building effect. Verdict: best for mind-body stability. Number 1. Combined functional movement circuit. Sit to stand plus squat plus balance flow. The most effective approach is not a single exercise but a combined movement system that mimics real-life actions: standing, sitting, balancing, and controlled squatting in sequence. This method engages muscles, nerves, and circulation together. Clinical observations in functional aging programs show up to 50–70% improvement in mobility scores when practiced consistently. It directly targets the root problem, loss of functional independence. Verdict: the closest thing to a full-body anti-aging reset for movement. Now that you know which movements matter most and how they compare, the next step is learning the top 3 solutions in detail and the exact way to perform them safely for maximum benefit. Now we move into the most important section: how to actually apply the top movements in a safe, realistic, and medically grounded way so they can fit into daily life after 50 without causing strain or injury. The top 3 most effective approaches from the Japanese longevity system are slow deep squats, Tai Chi flow movement, and the combined functional movement circuit. These 3 stand out because they don't just improve one system. They retrain the entire coordination between muscles, joints, balance, and nervous system control. The third most effective is slow deep squats. When performed correctly, this movement strengthens the thighs, hips, and lower back while improving joint lubrication in the knees. The key is control, not speed. A safe starting point is 5 to 8 repetitions per set, once or twice daily, with a chair nearby for support if needed. The movement should be slow enough that you feel muscle engagement without sharp pain. Over time, this helps restore lower body power needed for standing, walking, and climbing stairs. A mild side effect can be temporary muscle soreness, which is normal adaptation, but anyone with severe knee arthritis should reduce depth or consult a clinician before starting. The second is Tai Chi flow movement, which is especially valuable for balance and neurological coordination. It works by training slow, controlled weight shifts that improve the brain's ability to respond to movement changes. Practicing for 10-15 minutes daily can significantly improve stability and reduce fall risk over time. It is gentle on joints, but one caution is that beginners may feel mild dizziness if movements are done too quickly, so pacing is essential. The number one and most powerful approach is the combined functional movement circuit. This involves linking simple actions like sitting down, standing up, stepping, and balancing into one continuous flow. For example, slowly sit on a chair, stand up, hold balance for a few seconds, perform a controlled squat, repeat. Doing this for 8-12 minutes daily trains real life movement patterns directly. This is more effective than isolated exercises because it mimics daily activities that people lose independence in. It improves strength, coordination, and confidence together. The main caution is to avoid fatigue. Form must always stay controlled rather than rushed. What makes this system more effective than traditional exercise is that it does not isolate muscles. It restores communication between the brain and body. That is the real key to maintaining independence with age. Now that you understand the top solutions and exactly how to apply them, the final step is to recognize the critical mistakes to avoid and how to structure a simple 30-day improvement plan. To make real progress after 50, it is just as important to avoid certain patterns as it is to practice the right movements. One of the biggest mistakes is doing high-effort exercise without control, which can strain joints instead of strengthening them. Another is inconsistency, doing exercises once in a while instead of building a daily rhythm. A third mistake is ignoring balance training, which quietly increases fall risk even if strength feels okay. Some people also stop moving after mild discomfort, which actually speeds up stiffness and weakness over time. The key reframe is simple but powerful. Age-related decline is not an unstoppable process. It is largely driven by reduced movement quality, not just age itself. When the body is given the right type of consistent stimulation, muscles, balance systems, and coordination pathways can still adapt even in later decades of life. A practical 30-day challenge is to commit to just a few minutes daily of controlled movement, focused on slow squats, balance practice, and functional sit-to-stand patterns, while avoiding long periods of inactivity. The goal is not intensity, but consistency, safety, and rebuilding confidence in basic movement.